I just finished killing one. And a Lionel. What on earth is going on here? Right. Just in case there's somebody hiding up there, I'm just going to blow them up. Alright. Hello. Oh, look. It's a silver bokoblin. Oh no. Whatever will I do? I'm going to have to kill it now. Riju, will you stop running off? I just want to use your lightning powers. But no, apparently I'm not allowed to use your lightning powers. Because you keep running off when I want to trigger them. Because some great developer decided, oh, I'm just going to set it to the A button. You have to talk to them in the middle of battle. Abosa's was so much better. I just did a spin attack and it electrocuted the entire area around me. That worked. This doesn't. It works for Tullin when I'm in the sky, but that's because I'm gliding at the time. Bad. Angry man, old man shouts at Cloud, apparently. So there we go. The amount of silver enemies in this seems way more than Breath of the Wild. In fairness, in Breath of the Wild, we also had a mix of gold enemies. But yeah, the gold enemies seemed rarer. Then the silver enemies don't seem to... I swear something has been nerfed. Because I don't remember having quite as much trouble with the silver enemies. Ah, yes. No, it has been nerfed, hasn't it? Because they nerfed the base damage of every weapon in the game. Unless it's a pristine weapon. The pristine weapons have the same weapon values as the previous game, but in this game, they've nerfed the weapons with the corruption of the gloom because they want me to use the fuse system. And that's fine, because you know what? I actually have all of this stuff. Lionel Silver Saber, 55. I could attach that to a weapon and I'd have a very strong weapon. But I'm not allowed to have that in this game. Because unfortunately, I then means I have to spend the monster parts that I need to craft other weapons. Craft all the armor upgrades, sorry. Instead of using them for weapons. So what I need to do is finish upgrading a particular weapon armor path. And then I can start using all of the fancy other monster parts to make weapons. But Ancient Blade. Can't even use that to fuse with a sword. I have to turn it into an arrow. But I'm not wasting it on an arrow. Especially even though we'd kill a Lionel in one shot, I still need the parts off the line. So, fun. I don't even know what I was doing anymore. That was obviously for a Lionel. Right, that's a star. Surely it can't be that severe. I see pose, but I also see I'm not going after that. Ah. Okay, I think it's the eager hideout. Okay, I can do that. I can deal with an eager hideout. And not going to do too much damage to me, I'm sure. Let's face it, nothing has actually changed on the surface apart from the caves appearing out of nowhere. Yep, pretty much. Tell you what, I'm going to have to sacrifice this anyway, so... Oh! That did a thing. So what are you for? Here's that part. I need to refuse the Master Sword. In Breath of the Wild, you had the Guardians to... Oh, hello. There we go. In Breath of the Wild, you had the Guardians to go, "Woo, new and dangerous enemy. This game has nothing," and they just decided we will replace them with all more civil enemies. No, well, sort of. You've got the no, you've got the Zonai bots. That's the thing. You don't have anything of. Well, I think the idea is that the Glycos would be the great, big, terrifying baddie of this game, but it doesn't compare. They're big and terrifying until you figure out how to, take them down. And well, even then, they're just a HP sponge more than anything. They're relatively easy to take down by mid-game. But the Guardians certainly added more gravitas because you're running through Hyrule Field and all of a sudden you hear that musical cue of as a laser beam is targeting on you, and you realise, oh, I am in trouble. And once you get the parrying down, they're fairly okay, but they still had plenty of threat to them. With this, yeah, there's hello, that's another stretch redeem as well. Okay. Ow. Ah. Stretch. I will stretch, you can look at Link. Look, Link is wearing a green tunic, which they also decided Link didn't need to wear. Why's my battery going down? Oh, right, I've accidentally turned on the, turret. Oh, I'm not going to worry about that, though. Oi. Right. Tell you what, I also need to step away for a moment, and so I shall. Be right back. Don't go away. I return, huzzah. Also, I've noticed I've finally got 300 arrows. Right. No, Link, I know you're excited, but... There we go. Eager Clan Notebook. Base Construction Manual, Volume 1. Relay bases must be built to facilitate safe and efficient navigation of the depths. All base must contain a secret alcove containing a solid gold statue of our lord, Master Koga. When choosing a site for a base, consider location where the terrain can be used to defend against monsters, particularly the secret chamber with the gold statue of our lord, Master Koga. 1. Choose a high location that monsters cannot reach. Construction may be difficult, but the protection will be worth the effort, especially for the gold statue of Master Koga. 2. Create a sandbank surrounded by water. Most monsters cannot swim. but it is entertaining to throw them into the water and watch them flail around in terror. 3. When building on flat terrain, it is unavoidable sufficiently fortified defences with barricades. See Volume 2 for information about base operation and management, as well as the location of the secret chamber containing the solid gold statue of our Lord, Master Koga. Glory be to Master Koga! Good to know. Right, where am I going? Over here. I'm just... In Breath of the Wild, you had the Guardians go... Woo! Oh, wait, never mind. I'm just going to say it. Tears of the Kingdom sucks. It doesn't completely suck. If the gameplay's fun enough, if what you wanted was just more Breath of the Wild with updated mechanics, or at least more of Breath of the Wild's gameplay with updated mechanics, it's perfect for you. You've got hundreds of hours of fun running around Hyrule, building all sorts of Minecraft constructs to use and have fun with and destroy the world however you want. In terms of a Zelda game, no, it's definitely one of the weakest ones at least in my tier list. It's just it's missing so much. It's just they've focused so much on the mechanics that they've not really captured its soul, really. It does suck, and I'm glad I never bought the game, even though I'm a huge Zelda fan. Haven't played most Zelda games either, which is disappointing, but Phantom Hourglass is also bad. You know what, I quite enjoyed Phantom Hourglass for what it was. Water Freezer, marvellous. I didn't mind Phantom Hourglass. I actually enjoyed it. I also enjoyed Spirit Tracks, and a lot of people don't like that one either. I enjoyed Phantom Hourglass, but going back to the damn temple so many times was bad, and the final boss was bad. I still get flashbacks from trying to draw the damn hourglass. Fair point. As a kid, I couldn't figure out what a figure 8 was. That's alright, took me a while to figure out the Triforce pattern one as well. Maybe the game is different if you don't complete it. Wait. Maybe the game is different if you don't complete it, but it shouldn't be. No, I'm in full agreement. If you just play the game like a normal person and you just do all the main story missions, do a bunch of the sub-story missions, you get as many heart containers as you want. Yeah, it's not that bad. I'm sure it isn't that bad. But if you're 100%ing it, it's not a game for completion. It really is not a game for completion, unfortunately. Maybe the game is different if you can... Oh, wait, sorry. I love Phantom Hourglass for the world and mini-games. The story is weird. I didn't think the story was that weird, to be honest. Oh, right, that's trying to attack me. Okay, never mind. Right, I've done... Oh, no, hold on. Yes, I've done that, Lionel. I've done that. That was the water freezer. Yes. So, the next thing I should do is that. Okay, fine. I mean, I've got the meals. I might as well use it for something. That's probably enough. Right. I'll fix the Master Sword in a minute. I do not understand why this game got 10s. Like I said, for most people, if you just play it as a if you don't try and 100% it, it probably comes... You see, it was the same with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild got 10s across the board, and when you get down to it, There's enough, I don't know, a very, very kind answer to it, I suppose. I don't know, I think it was because Breath of the Wild was such a game changer that it got 10s. I don't know, I think it's just because this game was so overly hyped. Like I said, it's a stable game. It works, it brings new stuff to the table, but suppose in isolation it would also work in terms of the story, but it's a sequel and it's in a well-known franchise, so it's not like it's an own independent. If this was its own game, sorry, if this was like at the start of a new franchise or a standalone title, what just happened? This was a standalone title. This wasn't Link and Zelda, but I know Harvey and Betty. Then it would have probably worked out quite well. But this game stands. I don't know. There's just so much. I could sit here and try and work it out for hours, to be honest, of all of it, but Breath of the Wild got 7 or 8 from me. This gets a strong 2, and that's being nice. Fair enough. I wouldn't go so hard as that. I'd give it a 5. Maybe a 7. I'm looking at it through the lens of a massive Zelda fan. In terms of everything, though, I wouldn't give it 10. Well, that was certainly a thing that just happened. I've yet to figure out also why the Master Sword goes glowing when it does. Oh, also I'm now running out of Master Sword energy. Fantastic. I've only just got the Master Sword back and it's already conked out. Like I said, if that was just some other legendary blade, it wouldn't matter. But it's built on a franchise where we know the Master Sword. It is one of the greatest swords in gaming for many people. For a reason. It is iconic. It is legendary. It's just, but no, apparently no, we don't get that. After it was a sword tempered in the flames of the divine flames of the golden goddesses and blessed by the goddess Hylia, who's still a demigod as far as I'm concerned. But, oh no, now it gets tired because, oh well, we can't have an unbreakable sword in this game. No, nobody had ever used anything other than the unbreakable sword. Apart from I'd have to use some big, strong weapon. Stupid blasted. I'd probably give it about a 5 myself because it fixed none of the problems with Breath of the Wild and made some of them worse. Yeah. The story's also very much lacking compared to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild had just a more fleshed out story. This just feels very shallow. It's an expansion. But it's a really bad expansion because it's, like I said, if it actually pulled into the one crux of it, the one thing that kills a lot of this game for me is they completely ignored Breath of the Wild. If they had a choice, it was either give it a reset and say, give it a soft reboot and say, oh, well, the Breath of the Wild happened, but all the stuff you did doesn't matter, everyone's got amnesia, or Breath of the Wild happened, and we don't, if you 100%ed it or not, we don't care. We'll treat it as if you 100%ed the game. Because we have the internet. If a character says they know Link, then just ignore that and you can just look it up online because they were part of a sub-story. And it's a reason to go back to Breath of the Wild if you're that invested. But if they'd had actually Breath of the Wild set as the 100%, you basically, with Tears of the Kingdom, said, right, well, we'll go with you 100% of Breath of the Wild. This is how the story goes on from there. Because it's been long enough, and a lot of people have done, if nothing else, all of the sub-stories in Breath of the Wild. They may not have got all the Korok seeds, but I'm sure a lot of people will have done all of the sub-stories and the DLC in Breath of the Wild. So it's a first shout to say the majority of people will probably know where you're coming from with if you run into an NPC and they say, thank you for saving our village all that time ago. But no, they didn't. They basically just ignored it, and that just takes me out of the story. Because it's just, I know all of these people, I know what happened here, but you're treating me as if this is my first time ever seeing this area, or meeting the Great Fairies, or visiting Kakaraku. And it's just, no, stop it. And they just went, oh, well, we'll just get rid of all the Sheikah Towers and all of the shrines, and we'll just pretend nothing ever existed. I can understand why, from a technical standpoint, they've added so much into the game that there is there's absolutely no point trying to render all of the shrines in and all of the towers in on top of everything else. That's not to say you couldn't have just, oh, I don't know. Hey, cool. I don't know, you could have reused them. They were ancient mystical technologies. You could say that the Sheikah are descended from Minoru, and that when the upheaval happened, all of the shrines across Hyrule shunted and you end up in a different pocket. All the shrines became corrupted and you have to then cleanse them from Ganon's essence. And as a reward, you get cores that you trade with, I don't know, the goddess or something, and that gives you a heart container. Or you get pieces of heart, which either a callback to the previous games, and then you do 4 shrines, and then the pieces of heart form a heart container, and there you have that. But no, they've decided, oh, we'll just have an entirely new shrine system. It's just... There's no point. There is so much more they could have done. There's so much more they could have done that probably wouldn't have required nearly as much dev time as they put into this game. So it once again breaks my mind trying to figure out the rationale. Right, anyway, where are we up to? Done that line 11. Market is finished. Okay, so we've done this section. That's the GuardEzio. I promise, if I, for some strange reason, ever work on a Zelda game, I will make it a good one. All you have to do is just do what the early Marvels did. Do what Marvel Studios did before Disney bought them. Have a lore master on staff. Have somebody you can go to and say, we're planning to do this. How does it fit in with the lore? You think the writers for the Iron Man films knew all of the comics inside and out? No, they actually hired somebody as their paid job to know the comics inside out, and then they could advise, and that's why they ended up being so good. That's all they needed with the Zelda games. You just need somebody who can advise on the lore, and that's it. Have a Tom Shippey as they had to do all of that. But no, apparently not. We don't get that. That's all. That would have solved so many issues if they just had somebody on staff who actually cared about the lore. But no, they went, oh, well, we found that in Zelda games, people came up with their own lore, and we wanted to feed into that. No, you're just being lazy now. People theory crafted around the lore that you gave them, taking all of the lore away and saying, well, this doesn't exist anymore. Breath of the Wild sort of did it okay. With Breath of the Wild, you had enough lines there that you could theory craft. I spent most of our journey through Breath of the Wild theory crafting new intricate ways of how the lore works with the traditional Zelda timeline. I still think 10,000 years is a massive stretch between the Great Calamity and the New Calamity, but with this, there's nothing. There is nothing. They've basically just severed every line and said, well, here it is in a bubble. Some things happen, but for the most part, this is all happening now, and it's just, it's not like I'm going in blind. I played the previous game. I know this is not right. Stop trying to make me think that it is. Remember how Majora's Mask was terminal failed and the mask system made it better? Yeah. Yep. That's it. But that was a completely different world, and that's fine. And you were detached from Hyrule. You didn't have to worry about the lore of Hyrule. You were in a different place. They could have easily just done a full-on sequel. They did. They did a sequel to A Link to the Past. Between worlds, but the world had changed. It had the similarities, but it had changed enough because time had passed. But no, not with this. No. Zelda 2, you at least had some. Well, no, that's a bad example, actually, but oh well. Or Link's Awakening. That was a sequel to A Link to the Past as well, but Link's Awakening set you in a different place, and it's alright because it's new and different. This game didn't. It just decided, oh, we'll use the same Hyrule and we'll just reset everything to 0. A total reset would be terrible. I'd revert to the timeline and the lore before Breath of the Wild. Yep, they did a soft reset, didn't they? Because they didn't want to incorporate any lore into it. They just basically wanted to make a game with Link and Zelda, and that was it. Make their own standalone universe, and that's just really lazy storytelling. I'm sorry, but it's just lazy as far as I'm concerned. Majora's Mask was fantastic, but the problem with the 3-day cycle... Well, the 3-day cycle was something that added a new level of depth to it, but once again, I can only say from an outsider, because I've never played Majora's Mask. A Link Between Worlds was amazing. It was amazing. It was a very good game. And it actually added to the lore. Right, what am I doing next? Before I go on another tangent. I know what I'm doing next. We're going back to the surface. If only for a moment. Because we've missed a light route. I think the issue with not resetting the timeline is you start having a lot more strings attached. You can do things with it, but as I would be wanting to take it from a very different angle, I'd not want those ties. But that's just my experience of game design. No, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Yes, that is a very good point. By doing a sort of soft reset. Well, I mean, they've managed it with previous Zelda games, though, haven't they? You have Twilight Princess. I know I always bang on about Twilight Princess, but it ties back into the previous game, or it ties into previous games in the timeline. It ties into Ocarina of Time quite nicely. It's not a massive full stitching it in, but you incorporate core bits of the lore. You incorporate the Golden Goddesses. You incorporate the Triforce. You incorporate the Master Sword. You incorporate the Temple of Time. You incorporate Link from Ocarina of Time, and in such a clever way as well. That is what makes it great. It doesn't feel like there's too many strings attached tying it down, because the Kingdom of Hyrule you see is vastly different. Enough time has passed. I'd say not 100 years, but 100 years seems a bit too soon. 200 possibly, between Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess works quite well for enough of a shift of the kingdom for everything to be, but Metroid is the worst offender. You see, Metroid's another one that's able to... See, Metroid's got with the likes of Dread, that pulls in other bits and pieces of the lore. So... Yes, but I think overall the ties have not been done as well, and hence why you keep having very similar narratives over and over again. Metroid is the worst offender. Okay, with that previous comment in context, yes, okay. Yeah. You're right on that one. Metroid is also very much a case of there are bits and pieces of that playing Dread, there were bits and pieces that I didn't quite understand in terms of that. So, fair enough. But the thing with Metroid games is they're also so far and few between that for newcomers like me, yeah, it does make it a bit of an issue to wrap into the lore, but at the same time it adds to the enjoyment of, well, this has happened, so now I'm going to go off and look up what it actually means. And then that leads from one thing to another. I can't believe they've made 2 Zelda games without the Triforce. Oh, the Triforce has been in, it was in Breath of the Wild. It was just a sort of MacGuffin on the back of Zelda, a MacGuffin at the end when they sealed the Calamity, but other than that, it was there. I'm still pissed off they've got rid of the Golden Goddesses. It's now all Hylia. And that's basically them going, well, at least Hylia is Zelda, so we have more to work with, rather than these... Well, they had enough to work with the Golden Goddesses. There was a mystique about them, but... Oh, well, it is what it is. It's a dragon. Well, at least I now know where the... I know where the depths are now. Am I going to have to wait for Farosh to finish going into the depths, or am I just going to shoot him now? Where did that go? I've just been screwed out of a dragon part, haven't I? No, wait, no, there it is. No, mine! Oh, well, there we go then. I've got a scale. I was aiming for a spike, but whatever. That's fair on Metroid. It's more of a general Nintendo philosophy that annoys me, but that's a long debate. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yes, Nintendo aren't the great bastions that a lot of people make them out to be. I love Nintendo games, but at the same time, there's a lot of... It's not just the games, there's the business practice as well, where they basically screw over the fans. You make fan content and they send the lawyers after you. I mean, there was a time when they basically cut an in. I think I might be mistaken on it, but wasn't there an instant where Sakurai, who basically put no story mode in Smash Bros. 4 because he was upset because people were leaking the story online or something, and it's just Nintendo's just not good with lore. No, Nintendo's just not good with lore. Just look at Pokemon. Oh, I'd rather not. No, that looking at Pokemon just gives me a headache. We have received reports of sounds coming from inside the large walls to the southwest. Specifically, they're coming from the striped wall that extends up to the ceiling. We have searched the depths for some sort of entry point, but to no avail. Were the sounds a figment of our imagination? Or could they be that there's an entrance somewhere else? If only we had a map of the place, we could know for sure. Glory be to Master Koga! Opinion of GuardEzio increased tenfold with last statement. That's fair enough. I mean, don't get me started on their hardware. Look at the Switch. Nintendo have such... I'm glad for the Steam Deck. If only because it gives competition against the Switch. Because Nintendo have such a horrible habit of going for last generation hardware. It's utter nonsense. There is no point for you to go with last generation hardware. Push the envelope. I know you make good games, but then your games don't work properly. Look at Tears of the Kingdom, where if I go to Kakaraku Village, my entire Steam... It's barely playable. The frame rate drops so severely, and that's with it in dock mode. This is when it's supposed to be drawing full power through the processor. Even then, it just drops staggeringly. You've managed to fix the optimization with Kokori Forest. Why could you not fix the optimization with Kakaraku? And the only reason I can think of the optimization being so bad and the frame rate being so bad is they've thrown in so many of those giant ring ruins that it's just nuked everything. Ooh, beam spinner. Interesting. I blame the fanboys because of the games for a decade. Fanboys because of the games for a decade. Pokemon is a mess. Pokemon's one of those things where There's a lot of people, I understand the want to have, like, a gold and silver experience where you can basically go from Johto to Kyoto, to Johto to Kanto, but it's not tenable for all of the games. I think they should bring that back, but they've also made so many new Pokemon that it's just, yeah, then it just becomes a massive headache. It all is a massive headache, to be honest. Oh. Okay. I thought you were going to come in here, but apparently not. Right, I'm just going to ignore you then and run over here. If it had a lower price point, it would, to make it, say, a more accessible console, then I think the lower hardware would make more sense. But yeah. Well, look at the OLED Steam Deck. They had a chance to increase the process power there, but they didn't. They just put a better screen in it, an OLED display in it, which is probably going to affect the GPU performance, let's face it. So, rendering more pixels? It's one of those things. That's why a lot of people have emulated Tears of the Kingdom on the Steam Deck. Buy a copy of the cartridge and then emulate it, if you're in a country that allows you to do that, because I know different laws in different places, but because you've just got the better power behind it. OLED Steam Deck or OLED Switch? Sorry, OLED Steam Deck. OLED Switch, that's the one I'm going for. Everyone is banged on about, oh, you're going to buy an OLED Switch? And my answer is no. You've got a bit of an updated dock, and you've got an updated screen in the Switch, but that's it. Why would I waste my money on buying something that I've already got? Especially when I'm probably going to get a worse experience in terms of battery life and gameplay. It's just, or at least performance. Also, you have mods. What, for the Switch? Well, you can only mod the original Switch. You can mod the Steam Deck. Well, no, no, you can't replace the Joy-Con analog sticks yet, but there's right to repair with the Steam Deck, which is quite nice. Right, there we go. I've done that, so I can get rid of that, and I've done the Eager Hideout, which I'm surprised I hadn't done. There we go. And now I don't know where I am on the map. I am. There we go. Eager schematic done. Done that light route, but I'm going to keep it there. Inox there, and there is the world's smallest light route right there. You kidding me? Oh, for the love of Remedy. Right. No. No, for the Steam Deck version. Oh, fair enough. Yes, you can mod the Steam Deck. You can change out the analog sticks for the Hal effect, which is another thing. Nintendo didn't always just shy away from innovation. I mean, you've got the innovation with the Switch and the dock system, but I mean, look at the N64 controller. Probably the analog stick wasn't the greatest, but it used light. It was one of the most... because it used a light switch, it was basically one of the most accurate analog sticks around. They don't do that now. They've ended up cheaping out on the hardware, and you've got the membrane analog sticks, which have horrible drift and don't seem to last very long. The Switch Lite was a failure more than the Wii U, so it's funny they make terrible console decisions. Well, they do at the moment. They haven't always made terrible console decisions. But sometimes yeah. In recent time, I think there's so much competition that they're trying to catch up and it just doesn't work. I mean, look at the business strategy for save games. I do understand why they went for a paid model for online services. They're doing what Xbox has done for years, and PlayStation, so I can't blame them for charging money for online multiplayer. I can say I don't like it, but I can understand what they do, and you also get a lot of free emulation and various other bits and pieces for what you pay for. I can appreciate that. I can say, yes, it's value for money because of all of the things you get on the subscription. But There is no way of backing up your save game data from the Switch to an SD card. Why? The only way you can back up your save games stored and saved on your Switch is by paying a fee so you get cloud backup. That I really don't care for. Online modes should be free because consoles are expensive. Consoles are expensive, but also server infrastructure is expensive. So I can sort of see the rationale behind that. I don't think you're ever going to get a free online service model ever again unless you're on PC. And let's face it, you're technically already paying for an internet connection on that point. No, I've just nuked my own point, haven't I? I can sort of stomach the paying for online because if you don't play online multiplayer games, then you don't spend the money because what's the point? I just find it really egregious. Really, really egregious. That you have to go through the whole palaver of you don't get to save your backups. You don't get to back up your saves unless you pay Nintendo a fee. It's just... I mean, I have no choice but to accept that, but still. Well, I don't. I could just not accept it, and I could just not have backups of my saves, but let's face it, the amount of journeys I've gone on and the amount of data I've got, so yeah, I'm kind of... It's not consumer friendly, is what I'm trying to get at. It's very anti-consumer, and I don't like it. That was annoying. Actually answer that. It was to combat people altering their save data via SD card readers. The thing is, why does that matter? I mean, I suppose for competitive stuff like Splatoon and Smash Bros, I can see why it matters, but sorry, but I just... No. Fair enough, okay, they've put a reason in there, but at the same time, it's just... No. There's... Just... I don't... What does it matter? You can back up your saves to another M.2 drive. What, in the Switch? And there's no way of doing that on PS5 either, by the way. Well, I don't like it on the PS5 then as well. I don't like the idea of basically you have to pay to get backups. I mean, there's an SD card reader in the Switch. There are USB ports in the PlayStation. It sits wrong with me, is all. And that's something I'd have to talk to you about later. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nintendo gives you a family subscription, which is cheaper. Xbox and PlayStation are money hungry. Yes, fair enough, fair enough. Now what Nintendo did with Animal Crossing, that's very egregious. One island per Switch is shocking. Yes, that strikes me less as a money thing, and that's more of a case of they were just incompetent with some designs here and there, but fair enough. Also, what time are we on? Oh, right, it is coming... Oh, waifu of the moment. Good question. Good question. You know what, she was mentioned earlier. Lady Pura. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. I like her. She is very pretty. Very cute, and I just really like her. I know my rock hammer is badly damaged. Most of my things are badly damaged in this game. My sanity is certainly badly damaged. Right, I'm still waiting for a blood moon to suddenly spawn and ruin my day. Also, take a swig. Okay, give me a minute. It will have to be a sip of this, because I don't have any more cider left. So, cheers, Kev. Much appreciated. Okay, yeah, Animal Crossing sucked for that, as my brother and I had to share an island, which, when I did everything. And time check. Yes! I know, we've got 2 minutes, technically, before the end of the stream, so... Is there anything I can do between now and then? No, not really. Well, I could push my luck. Oh! I'm going to have to push my luck, right, because I can't, when I reload my save, my hoverbike's going to have gone. So, let's make a quick run for this light route. I'll ignore the boss, or the mini-boss there, and we're just going to gun for it. But yeah, that's the thing. It's just... Nope, that's fine. Duck sword. Seriously, by this point in the game, I should be able to find better pristine weapons than just the standard... we got up there. You see, that's just a bunch of... Oh, it's another Stalnox. Great. Oh my... Can I hear music? Is there a dragon? Must be a dragon. There's different music. Nintendo! Nintendo, you can do music! Why am I hearing this in this random location? There's no dragon. So is this the theme of the depths? Why do I not hear this more often? Why is it all just blasted ambience? Soundtracks are some of the best things in the Zelda games, and you got rid of most of them. But you can clearly do them, because this is some good music. So why? Why am I only hearing this now by this particular light route? What is special about this location? Is it a construct factory? Is it because I'm near... Is it because this is the construct? It must be because it's the construct factory. What's Bizned? How do we help GuardEzio to enjoy the journey? I don't know. Keep chatting? I don't know. Oh, let's face it, if chat wasn't here, I'd basically just be... to be honest, if I wasn't streaming this game, I probably would have... I don't know, would I have given up on the 100% run? I think the temptation to give up on the... I probably would have just put this game to the side for later and never got back to it, to be honest. At least chat gives me it just gives me entertainment in terms of conversation, rather than just me sitting here trying to think of things to say as I collect my 500 Korok seed. Koji Koda got older, so they gave up on music. Really? Someone else could take over from Kondo. They could! Yes! There are plenty of good composers out there. Surely somebody could have taken up the baton. Also, never try to 100% a video game. I will bear that in mind, though I know nothing of those games. They're not the ones with the never mind. A waifu suddenly came to mind, but I could be wrong in my thinking there. Right, there we go. Delete pin. And with that, we are going to... I'm going to make sure Link's out of the walking animation. I don't want to risk a corruption. There we go. Here's me. Save the game. Save the game. And then we will continue this next time. That works. What's the final count then? We are at 1 Orb of Light, 121 Shrines, 89 Light Roots, 788 Korok Seeds, because we didn't find a single Korok Seed in this game, but that's fine, because they don't live in the depths. Just pain, misery, and more pain, and more misery. No, I want to know about this waifu you're thinking of. I can't remember her name, but I know Jamboree, who is a member of the community, likes her very much. It's a tactical RPG series. Nadscare has waifus. Maybe, I don't know. If I find a picture of her at some point, I'll throw her on the Discord server in the Temple of Waifu section, but other than that, I don't know. Anyway, There we go. So we've made progress. We've now finished all of the... We've unlocked all of the light routes underneath Linaroo, which is fine. We've got a bit of tidying up to do with some mini-bosses to do in the depths. And then after that, it's back to the surface where we unlock Zora's Domain. I think we do unlock Zora's Domain after that. Which means, as per our stratagem with these games, we unlock the area and then we do some story. And for once I'm happy that I'm doing some story. I probably won't be by the end of the story, but we're actually doing something other than hunting for Korok seeds or Shrines of Light. Shrines of Light or Light Route. We're all fighting various mini-bosses for the 100th time. We're actually going to do something different. See a different place. See Zora's Domain, which I point out to this day is one of my favourite areas in any game, especially in Breath of the Wild. And it's my favourite area in Zelda at any rate, because in Breath of the Wild, Link... The Zora are so long-lived. It's like the elves in Lord of the Rings. The Zora knew Link. He met childhood friends. And that was amazing because we got some, for once, we got some back into the game. And we also met, and technically we found out that he had a fiancée in the form of Mipha, at least as far as I'm concerned. I know the shippers would argue against it, but this is my headcanon, so that's what I think. So in some ways I'm glad because I get to see more of the Zora. In other ways I'm not looking forward to it because knowing Nintendo, they've probably screwed it up. So we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Do Elden first. No, I'm not doing Elden first. Why should I do Elden first? Why do you want to see me suffer through Death Mountain? Oh, you know what? We'll be diplomatic about this. We'll be diplomatic about this. Chat. A quick vote, though I've only got a few minutes left. What do you want to see me do? Zora's Domain or Elden? Do you want to see me do Death Mountain? Or, well, it's not Lake Hillier anymore, that's on the other side of the map. But you know what I mean. Or Zora's Domain. We've got one for Elden. We've got one vote for Elden. See you in an hour, Elden. More depth. Thanks, Earthheart. Thanks. So we've got 2 for Elden and 1 for depth. Anyone else around who can throw a vote in? If not, then... We're doing Elden. I'm gonna have to go. Yeah, we're doing Elden. Because Elden gets you the flame protective gear and you can get the depths finished. As quoted by Dr. Rick Coffin, the screams of the damned fill my heart with joy. So either way, I'm damned. Okay, fine. Well, we're doing Elden next. Great, I'm going to be running around Death Mountain. Oh. Fundy-doo-dah. Right, okay, sure. We'll leave Zora's Domain for a while as I'm misery-bound, which means technically we do Death Mountain, then we do Akala, then we finally do Zora's Domain, and then we're done. It shouldn't be that bad. Oh, I don't know at this point. But anyway, right, so Elden next. So, with that said... If you're new here, hi, I'm Ezio. It's a pleasure to meet you if you enjoyed what you saw, and I can't imagine how you could. It was mainly just me ranting for 4 hours. Well, we'll be right. I'd really appreciate if you hit that follow button, but the decision will always be yours. If you ever want to catch up with any of our journeys so far, you can find them all uploaded to the YouTube archive, linked in the panels down below, containing playlists of every game, every journey as I call them, that we've ever been on here on this channel, including the previous game in this franchise, technically. The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, certainly the previous game to this one, which we did to 100% on Master Mode, with all the DLC. Yes, that did include all 900 Korok Seeds. Yes, I did lose my sanity a bit when we finally cleared that mission with Hetsu. There is a clip somewhere on the channel of that glorious moment. But yes, I think that's everything. Everything about, well, I'll be right back here as well in just over an hour's time, at around about 7 o'clock UK time, as we continue our journey into the world of this fascinating game. What sanity? Yes, I am questioning that. Well, after so many Yakuza games and certainly Breath of the Wild, I must question myself on that one. But anyway, I'm running out very much out of time very quickly. So, where was I? Oh yes, that's everything, apart from a thank you to each and every one of you. Be you a chatter, be you a lurker, be you watching live here on Twitch or in the YouTube archives, thank you very much for joining me on this journey this afternoon. Thank you for joining me as we travel through this certainly interesting game. And most of all, thank you for spending a little bit of your life here with me on the channel. It means the world. It always will do. It always does. Now, let's see if we have enough to pay the good vibes forwards. Yes, we certainly do, but the question is there anyone on the rate list? Boop. Turbo's live? Turbo is live on a Saturday afternoon. I'm throwing a raid over to the mighty Turbo then. Just... Turbo. Right. Live, playing Alan Wake 2. Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, there we go. So, with that said, with that done to each and every one of you, may you all have a beautiful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever it is around this whole wide world you are, and as always, until our paths next cross again, the Vortex awaits, and I'll see you all next time.